Okay. So today we are going to continue the discussion on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga. So we'll try to cover four verses, 6.29, 30, 31, and 32, because all are related. So before that, let's do the invocation. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanuramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. All right. So let's just do a brief, summary of the last three verses actually that we've done, which is 6.26, 27, and 28. So in the previous three verses, what we have discussed is whenever the mind, which is the nature of mind is restless and it constantly wanders away. And right now we are talking about the elevation of consciousness, which is manifested in terms of mind. So we are having a control of our body, but we don't have a control over our mind. And by its nature, it is restless. And by the process of meditation, we have to continuously bring it back to the self. And this process should be, done with determination and this what is the self, I'll just briefly discuss later. So that is what this verse is telling. And we have to persistently redirect the mind to the self and strengthening the connection to the divine over time. This practice will steady the mind, and this will lead to unwavering meditation on the supreme. Next, in 6.27 we have discussed that when this happens, that is the mind stops wandering and start gets established in the self, then such a person who is free from doubt and whose mind is fully controlled, in that mind, through that mind, it acts like a lens, acts like a window, and through that we can actually see the supreme self. We can And it gets revealed in the heart. Such a person sees the supreme self within themselves and in all others. So why in all others? Because he'll understand that just like Bhagwan exists in me, the same is true for everyone. The only thing that is different is the impurities or the distractions that is present in the other person's mind. So that is the only factor that is discriminating. Otherwise, the same supreme self is present in everyone. So in the next verses, the yogi who's engaged in the practice of meditation, who's free from all material desires. So then mind becomes fully controlled. That person, because he is also practicing meditation, he will become free from all material desires. That means the attachment from towards the world completely goes away. Mind becomes completely absorbed in the divine and acts according to your will. And such a person who is unshaken by any sorrow, because why sorrow is created only because our desires are not getting fulfilled, or we get either anger, or we get the more greed, right? So such a person who's unshaken by any sorrow, that person who is free from all material desires will achieve the highest state of bliss. That is what is next the verse says. Okay. So here I wanted to discuss about the divine union, masculine and feminine energy, and the states of consciousness of Jiva and Ishvara. So in a very brief manner, because it will help in understanding the later shlokas. So what is divine union? So basically, in everyone there is a masculine energy and a feminine energy. Okay. So this is divine in nature. So this masculine energy is represented by Shiva, or you can say Radha, and the feminine energy is depicted by Shakti, or you can say Krishna. So we should not say that Bhagwan, like even in people who are actually having female body, they can have masculine nature. Go-getters. Similarly, a female, I mean, a male can have a feminine energy, which is kind of caring, nurturing, artistic. So in that term, so what is masculine energy? It is represented by pure awareness, stillness, transcendence. There are many. I just listed few. And the feminine energy is movement, creation, transformation. So everything. Our body is moving. Our mind is acting, our ego, different egos are there, intellectually. So everything that is in movement is actually represented by feminine energy, and everything that is still, and that is represented by masculine energy. So whenever um, there is an imbalance, whenever we go outward, you know that means the feminine energy is working and the masculine energy is not working, because it is always constant, and the movement is happening in the feminine. So in a spiritual journey, the jiva means us. We are people with both the elements, which is the masculine and the feminine. Uh, but the feminine means we have body, mind, intellect, all of that. Okay, so we actually move from fragmented duality to perfect balance. So this is the journey, that is from movement towards stillness, is the journey of a jiva. So so what is that means? What is the what does that mean? So let me tell you. So a jiva, like for us, for people like us, we have the femininity, or the movement. You cannot say actually feminine energy and masculine energy. You can say that there is a potential energy and a kinetic energy. Kinetic energy means moving, anything that is moving. So in a the consciousness acts in a individual in three ways, which is waking state, dreaming state, and deep sleep state. So in these three areas, activities are happening, and when this waking state becomes not just limited to body, that is engaged in external world, but it also expands and it can feel everyone else. That is known as Ishvara. So it expansion of body level from individual to God, and it happens. Next is Taijasa. Taijasa means engage in dream world. So it is not just you experiencing your dream, but you are able to experience other people's dream. Means the mind state, the whatever they are thinking and everything. If you are able to experience, then that consciousness, which was limited to one individual, is actually expanding. Here, next is deep sleep, which is prajna, resting in pure potential. This is all your, one individual's samskars stored, and then when it becomes an unmanifested divine state, which is, you can say, karna the kusai Vishnu, which he has every samskar of all the people, then that is called Ishvara. So this is the another expansion of your um, that happens within you when you become self-realized. So you become identified not with just one body, you become identified with everything, not just one mind, but with everything, not just one samskar or few samskar of a particular family, particular country, but entire cosmos. And then comes the witness. So here, this witness state here is what, um, you are actually separating yourself from your mind, body, everything, your chitta, and experiencing it as separate from yourself. This is happening at individual level, and then Paramatma means at this level, when our consciousness reaches, we are able to experience all of them, not just individual, but in everyone. And then comes the Turiya state, which is called pure consciousness. This is actually where the state becomes common. So this is beyond the Paramatma stage, where there is only consciousness. We say now the sea and the drop. So this is representing by the represented as the what do you call, sea. So you loses this individuality, you gain this cosmic consciousness, and that is what we call God realization also, where then you act as the whatever the cosmos wants you to do. You are not you become an instrument of God. That is what happens here. And then when you lose your body, or if you want to lose your body, the choices. So then you merge into Brahman, or you become Krishna, like how we have discussed. So here I have included in terms of masculine and feminine energy. Masculine, that is awareness. In this state, when you are acting, there is less of awareness and more of material creation in the waking state. dreaming state also, there is lot of mental activity, and there is not much masculinity, which is the Shiva aspect, or the Radha aspect. Then the deep sleep, which is again here masculine is present but is not aware. There is no activity happening in mind, body, everything is silent, and but it is not even aware of itself. Witness, when you reach that state, when you are able to know your activities in the mind, your body, and your samskar, everything, at that time masculine realizes itself as separate from feminine. That is, I am not the body, I am not the mind, that kind of thing. And then this so what is divine union? When there is an equilibrium that is created between activity and silence. That is, activity, why we are doing any action is because we are going behind a desire, right? So whenever we come back to our original state, which is we encompass everything, we don't have to run behind anything. That is a state of equilibrium, right? So then there is a perfect balance between the silence and the activity, and that is this turiya state, or pure consciousness, and that state is known as divine union. So this can happen like Ardhanarishwar, where divinity is same, Radha Krishna, they are same. It is in the when they are in the form, and the formless means the sea example that you can take. So now we'll go for the verse. So let me read. सर्वभूत स्थितात्मानं सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः. So yeah, yes, Sandhya.
Yes, Radhe Radhe.
Happy Radhe.
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः.
Okay. Thank you. I think only one person, right? Okay. So here, this state that I have explained here, this state is known as self-realization. Okay. So when a person actually, a yogi whose mind becomes fixed in the self, that is, when he becomes self-realized, then he understands that he's not body, mind, and all. He's the ultimate consciousness. In that state, he sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. He perceives everything with an equal vision. So we have learned in chapter 5 that dog eater, dog, the cow, all of them, they see this as equal. Then another, where the mud, clay, and gold, they see as equal. In I think chapter 6 only it comes. So these the people who gets elevated in the meditation and reaches that state of self realization, they will see everything as same. So what is the explanation? A self-realized yogi transcends physical and material distinctions, perceiving that all beings share the same divine essence. Okay, and this is not just a knowledge but a direct realization through deep meditation. So it is there is a gyan and there is vigyan. So vigyan means you have experienced it and now you know, and gyan is just you reading and you are saying something. So this self-realization is not a just a knowledge, but it is coming from a deep meditation, deep realization, and the illusion of separateness is created by ego and ignorance. So because we have ego, we have ignorance in our mind, we think that we are separate, and this separateness leads to we keep attaching ourselves to various things, and we develop likeness and dislike, like and dislike. And as these dissolve, when we do meditation, these dissolve, and the yogi naturally sees that, okay, if I'm made of this, the other person is also. So we are all beings are non-different from the self. It's all coming from the same source. So developing this vision requires spiritual discipline, inner purification, and detachment. The mind must be consistently trained to go beyond external differences. So we have to continuously see that divinity, that oneness, and recognize the universal presence of self in all. That is, everything is coming from the same source. True equal vision does not come from artificially seeing all beings as the same, as per our convenience, but from the realization that Supreme exists within every living entity as an indwelling consciousness, and it happens that realization comes in deep meditation. So we'll the key teachings that we're going to see in this is direct experience of unity, how that person feels. Self-realization removes all sense of separateness, training the mind for equal vision, and this oneness creates universal love, kindness, and selfless service. So let's see. So what is direct experience of unity? So likewise, like how we said that the person sees the, so what we know what is meant by mind who's fixed in self-realization. That means I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am that one divinity. And next comes that person is seeing the self in all beings and all beings in the self. So this unity is not just a theory or a concept, but is an actual experience. It is not dependent on logic, reasoning, or belief system. It is an immediate and undeniable realization. And they do not think about experience, they experience it directly. And this experience transcends all everything that is material, which is all the femininity, the thought, emotion, perception of individuality. So how it is experienced is tasting honey is different, different from reading about it. So we can hear everything, composition, chemical composition, we can study, hear description of its taste, but true understanding comes only when it is tasted directly. So the sees in the self and all beings in the self. So for example, I've just included this visual aid where this fish, is realizing that it was always in water. So the water might live its entire life in, I mean, a fish might live its entire life in water without truly recognizing um, that it was in water. If it suddenly gains this awareness that, yeah, everything is, um, including itself, everything is divinity only. So if it suddenly gains that awareness, it realizes that water has surrounded it all along and supporting its very existence. Similarly, a realized yogi does not intellectually learn unity, but awakens to the fact that oneness was always present, unnoticed due to ignorance. So if so where does this fish come from? Fish is a manifestation of the sea only. It is not coming from some separate world or something. It is a manifestation. Everything out there is a manifestation coming from one divinity. So, like that, this sudden realization and the experience of unity happens in deep meditation. When our mind is calm and controlled and composed. So next is self-realization removes all sense of separateness. So similarly, so this point is actually describing the final transcendence where even the idea of the separate self is erased. So now the fish will not think that I'm separate. It will become one with the ocean. So like that, this is at this highest state, even the sense of being an individual dissolves. There is no subject, no object, that is, there is no sea and there is no separate me, only one absolute reality. There is no longer a knower and a known, only pure boundless awareness. Because this chapter deals with Dhyan Yoga. Basically, it is talking about self realization, where in terms of oneness. So the yogi does not even perceive themselves as a separate soul merging with the supreme, only oneness remains. So this state is beyond meditation, thoughts, actions. It is a state of ultimate liberation. Example is a wave is rising in the ocean and it can think for some time that it is separate from the ocean, but sooner or later it will know that from where I have come, I'm going there only back. So the moment it realizes that it is not distinct from ocean, but is the ocean, its false identity dissolves. And as long as that impurity is there, we'll always think that we are separate. So similarly, a realized yogi no longer sees themselves as separate individual. They experience existence as one absolute reality. So next is visual aid, like a unlit lamp being, or a small lamp being placed in the sun. So a lamp in darkness appears to be a direct, distinct source of light, but once it is in front of the sun, the light becomes, it merges in the light of the sun. Like that, all sense of separateness gets removed when our mind gets purified, and we realize that oneness in the self. So next is he perceives everything with an equal vision. So this is what we have already we have covered. So the mind is naturally conditioned to see differences based on forms, all kinds of differences, religion based, caste based, creed based, everything we consider it as separate from us, right? Based on the external identity. So this meditation removes distractions and helps the mind perceive this underlying unity. So again, it's a training, and when we train it through meditation, we get that equal vision. So purification cleanses mental biases, all the differences that we have and our past conditionings, all the samskars gets removed, and it allows clearer perception of truth. And when this purification happens, naturally detachment happens. What is detachment? Detachment from the external, all the material things. It no longer attracts us, because we know that it is the manifestation of same divinity. I am also manifestation of same divinity. Why am I going behind these things? So that detachment naturally arises, and it ensures that external influences does not distort this perception, and then mind actually, through training, becomes steady. So a pond filled with ripples cannot reflect the moon, but once the ripple goes away, we can see the moon, which is we can see the divinity within us. Similarly, like that we can actually see that oneness in everything. So example is, another visual aid is a turbid glass of water becoming clear. So if muddy water is left undisturbed, the dirt settles down and the water becomes clear, and that clarity of is what we need. That one moment of clarity is what is needed to just realize it, and it happens very suddenly. So next is, I think I have a question. I'll read. Okay. So, universal love, kindness, and selfless service. So, what happens when you perceive that oneness as an experiential reality? So, he perceives everything with an equal vision again. So, when one truly sees that, all as one, then that competition, conflict, selfishness, everything dissolves, and love, kindness becomes spontaneous, as harming others is like harming yourself. So this selfless service actually becomes an effortless process, and because you want to help, you want to help yourself only. So like that feeling comes. So what is this point, how it is different from this point? This is about clearing through meditation, and developing that equal vision, and this is about development of the selfless service. So it focuses on how realization manifests as action. So once you become realized, that is, you experience that oneness, then how you act in the world. So it is expressed through love, compassion, and service. So example is, the river does not discriminate who should drink water. So it serves everyone. It provides water to all without judgment. Similarly, a realized yogi serves all with pure love, knowing there is no difference between them and others. So example is a tree providing shade and fruits freely, just as a tree gives without expecting anything in return. A realized yogi serves others out of pure compassion and oneness. So does anybody have any question? Mm, okay. So if not, I'm going to go to the next verse. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. Any volunteers? Yes, Sandhya.
You can always go. Okay. यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति.
Thank you, Sandhya. So the meaning, the translation of this verse is, so we've seen in the previous verse, right, that a self-realized person sees self in all beings and all beings in the self. That's clear, like the fish and the ocean. And then he perceives everything with equal vision. So here, when that self-realization happens. That is, one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. So you can imagine that ocean, and he's saying that one who sees me everywhere. That means in everything Bhagwan exists and sees everything in me, and I exist in Bhagwan. So everything exists in Bhagwan, and I am also existing in Bhagwan. When that kind of realization happens, then he's saying that Krishna is saying that to such a self-realized person, I am never lost, nor he is ever lost to me. That means I am with that person 100% every second, 24 by 7. So, a self realized yogi does not just believe in Krishna's omnipresence, but experiences it as an undeniable reality. Okay? This vision is not an intellectual idea, but an actual perception that arises through deep meditation. So, while an ordinary person sees differences in separation, a yogi perceives that all beings exist within Krishna and Krishna exists within all beings. And this realization dissolves the illusion of separateness, leading to a state of unwavering spiritual connection. That is, we are all same, we are all connected, and everything is one only. And this knowledge and devotion, this fusion that Bhagwan is there in everyone, that knowledge, the fusion of knowledge and bhakti plays a crucial role when, while knowledge allows one to understand the Supreme's all pervading nature, devotion actually makes this realization deeply personal and experiential. So, this is one of my favorite verse actually, because here Krishna is actually manifesting. So, it is not just uh, that oneness that, okay, I am present in everything, but it is about you developing um, that relationship, whichever bhav that you had, Krishna manifests in front of you in that form. So all the Bhakt Charit, whatever we are hearing, Krishna is manifesting how, right? That kind of a personal and experiential realization is what this verse is talking about. And as a result, the yogi who sees Krishna everywhere is never lost to him. So it's not just about like Krishna, Bhagwan can manifest in any other form. So whichever your Ishta, he will come like that. So and he's never lost to him, and Krishna is never lost to them. So, he's all so his mind is always on Krishna, and Krishna's will be looking at you. And this unbreakable bond ensures constant divine protection and guidance. And so once he notices you, you are under his protection. And whether engaged in meditation, daily work, or worldly responsibilities, such a person always remains conscious of Krishna and experiences his present presence in every aspect of life. So that is what Krishna is trying to say, that one who sees me everywhere. Once you start seeing Bhagwan in all the circumstances, situations, thoughts, your forms, everyone, everything, then that person, Krishna understands that, okay, this person knows who I am. So then he will manifest. So just a comparison. So 6.29 actually focuses on the realization of unity, and 6.30 expands beyond unity and shifts the focus to personal relationship. So this is impersonal realization of oneness, that I am uh, the ocean, like that. But here the relationship becomes more personal. So let's delve deep into this, the key teachings. So divine reciprocity of Krishna, between the yogi and Krishna, and unbreakable divine protection, how Krishna guides us, and a relationship based realization and yogi's awareness, which this once this is how this is a permanent state. So uh, sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. So this verse does not only describe unity, but a deep personal relationship between Krishna and the devotee. So here the example is, um, a lifelong mentor remains with a student, guiding them through every phase of life. Like that, Krishna remains personally involved in the yogi's journey, strengthening their devotion and understanding. So, if you need, you need to learn something, he will be there with you. He will be experiencing the same thing with you. So, like that lifelong mentorship actually happens, and he will guide you. And so this we have already discussed, so I'm not reading. So next is a shadow that never leaves. Just a shadow never leaves a person. Krishna is always present with the yogi. So that is what he's saying, that sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. Next is he who sees me everywhere, same thing. So here this verse assures that once Krishna consciousness is fully established, that is, we are actually constantly seeing in everything and everywhere Krishna, then that person actually no longer fluctuates between this is not me and this is Krishna, he will not have that fluctuation. They are constantly aware of Krishna's presence, both ways, right? And this verse ensures that once this is realized, this yogi is permanently connected to Krishna. And this point focuses on permanence of that realization. So a person who has learned to swim, he will never forget, even if he does not swim for a long time, like that is the kind of realization that happens when we start looking. So that self realization is what we are seeing, that I am present in everything. And then this verse is saying that Krishna is present in everything including me. And then that the a person who has, I mean, similarly a realized yogi never loses that Krishna consciousness. He's always aware, and whatever is happening, that is being brought by Krishna, as it becomes an inseparable part of their existence. And in that state, that person will constantly, his awareness of Krishna remains uninterrupted, and he cannot help it. Even if he wants to go away or think about something, that will not happen in this state, which is beyond the self realization, where he will always think everything in relation to Krishna. Then this is for such a person who is seeing me everywhere and sees everything in me. I am never lost. So that means what? So no matter what happens in that person's life, Krishna will guide that person. This is what is being taught, spoken here. So Krishna not only remains present in the yogi's consciousness, but actively ensures their spiritual safety. Even if a yogi faces hardship, doubts, or challenges, Krishna's grace prevents them from falling, away from the path. Like, okay, God, we in our ignorance can say, okay, God is not listening to my desires, he does not exist. But Krishna will make sure that even if you get sidelined, you are back in that same path. So this protection is not just physical but spiritual, and Krishna ensures the yogi never loses their connection to him, even in difficult times. He's always there. So example is a pilot who constantly monitors a plane, ensuring it stays on course even through turbulence. Like that, Krishna ensures the devotees remains on the right path no matter the obstacles. And later on, I think the devotees also, no matter what happens, it's his leela. Like that, they become so. They are also riding the wave. So, visually, it is a lighthouse guiding the ship through a storm. So just as a lighthouse ensures the ship never gets lost in rough seas, Krishna's presence ensures the devotee remains on the spiritual path no matter the challenge. So, next verse. So, this verse is um, so we've learned that he who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, such a self-realized person, Krishna is always there with them, and he always constantly guides them. So now, what is the connection with this is the yogi who is steadfast in devotion. So that means now we have entered into the realm of Krishna. Means we are thinking about a form, right? So we are actually doing devotion. So even for self-realization, the last stage is devotion. So without devotion, you will not realize the even that self in everyone. um it's just that not in form. That's it. So the yogi who is steadfast in devotion always dwells in me and I dwell in him. So what does that mean? A true yogi absorbed in unwavering devotion, that is, your mind gets established in the self, the mind is always thinking about Bhagwan. That person experiences Krishna as an inseparable presence with their heart. They cannot separate that thought or that feeling. So unlike intellectual realization or meditative discipline, this connection is effortless and permanent. So once the bhakti comes, through all your self effort, whatever you did, the grace element has come, it will not leave you. It will, it will take you many lifetimes, but it will not leave you. So this connection is effortless and permanent, arising purely from bhakti. The yogi no longer perceives Krishna as an external force, but as an intimate, indwelling presence. So in the previous verse, it was like Krishna is guiding you, he is outside, right? So here it is saying that he is actually present within you also. It's not just outside realization, it's within. So the yogi no longer perceives Krishna as an external force, but as an intimate, indwelling presence, and eliminating all sense of separation. That is, you are one with that energy. Like that. So through this divine relationship, Krishna himself ensures that yogi never falls back into the ignorance. So continuously guiding and protecting them. This verse um, emphasizes that once a yogi attains Krishna consciousness, their bond with him becomes unshakable, requiring no external rituals or mental struggle, just pure, uninterrupted devotion. So here, when you are so much connected to Krishna, then he actually acts for you. So we might think that this person is acting for whatever reason, but that person knows that he's not acting. It is actually Krishna making him do things. So he is in a surrendered state at that point. So this person who is steadfast in devotion, he is dwelling in me and I dwell in him. And Krishna is actually guiding that person. So bhakti creates oneness. So how it is so devotion, that is bhakti, is the foundation of an unbreakable bond between yogi and the Krishna. So here yogi means what you still have that sense of individuality, and Krishna as separate, right? So but this bond becomes formed between you and Krishna, which is surpassing mere intellectual realization. So it just he will manifest in front of you. So it just becomes beyond what we learn in scriptures and all. It becomes a realization. So unlike knowledge-based practices that can waver, bhakti naturally absorbs the devotee's consciousness in Krishna, making separation impossible. So now, as we've already said before, so what is the connection between this and the 6.29 is 6.29 is talking about seeing the self in everything, and here it is about seeing God in everything. So that Bhagwan, which is a person who is steadfast in devotion, Bhagwan is existing in me and he is guiding. So unlike knowledge-based practice that can waver, bhakti naturally absorbs the devotee's consciousness in Krishna, making separation impossible. This connection is not imposed but spontaneous, flowing of love and surrender rather than effortful control of the mind. So that is why bhakti is more superior, because everything, this is an effortless process, whereas the all the other, you have to take that effort and then again go for bhakti. So this is from the starting itself we are doing. So just as a mother and child remains inseparably linked through love, bhakti ensures that Krishna and yogi remains eternally connected. So example is, just as the root of the tree naturally seeks nourishment from the earth without nourishment, this bhakti, which is in the yogi, it will actually naturally take you to this Krishna's divine presence, creating a steady, unshakable connection. And with that bhakti, we will naturally go towards this Krishna. So another thing is, this is also about talking about difference between the impersonal realization and personal realization. So if you want a personal realization, you have to have bhakti in it, and then this flow will be natural, and it will lead you to Krishna, and you don't have to make a separate effort for that. Then such a person always dwells in me. So who remembers Krishna constantly remains connected with the divine at all times. This connection is maintained through unceasing meditation and chanting, keeping Krishna in the heart and mind. And Krishna's presence is permanent and eternal in devotees' life, unlike worldly relationship, which are conditional. The bond with Krishna is unwavering, regardless of external circumstances. So, whatever I have told about self-realization, the same thing comes here as Krishna's realization. So we've just replaced the word mm, um, that here the Krishna's presence becomes permanent. and eternal in the devotee's life. Yogi who remembers him all the time at all times. This this connection is maintained through unceasing meditation and chanting, keeping Krishna. So the person is, because of the connection through devotion, he does not have to separately remember, go and chant or something. He is always in that state, always always meditating on Krishna, always chanting his names. It is a constant, flow. So by remembering Krishna continuously, the devotee is protected from illusion and ignorance. The devotee's mind remains aligned with the supreme, ensuring they are firmly on the spiritual path. So here this bhav bhakti, basically comes. And Krishna's constant presence offers guidance and love, allowing the devotee to feel secure and nurtured, never feeling lost or disconnected. So like that, bhakti will, just like as a needle always points to magnetic north in a compass, devotee's mind who has bhakti in it will always, no matter what, it will always run towards Bhagavan. And the visual aid that I've used is, sun nourishing all life, just as the sun rays nourish life on earth. Krishna's constant remembrance nourishes the devotee's soul, guiding them towards spiritual growth and divine connection. So the last, and again, this is, Krishna does not remain distant. He makes his home in our heart, um, of a sincere devotee. And the yogi no longer searches for Krishna externally, but realizes that he is already within, guiding every thought and action. So this becomes the reality. It's not just um, that he feels this connection, but he feels that he doesn't need anything else. He becomes that satisfied. So yogi no longer searches for Krishna externally, but he feels his presence within. This indwelling presence illuminates his life, ensuring everything that person needed, every desire, everything that person connects with Krishna, he ensures that the person has it, and triptatma, you can say, he's completely satisfied. So just as a lamp in darkness, dark room brightens everything, Krishna's presence in heart removes all ignorance. So a seed growing into a tree, just as the seed contains the potential to become a full tree, Krishna's present, once with that devotion has is there, and Krishna, you can experience his presence within you, then he will, Krishna's presence within devotee allows that person to grow spiritually and manifest the divine qualities, because we are divine creatures. We are just temporarily having this human experience, and this qualities he will bring out one by one. And so example is an artist painting a beautiful mural. So just as unseen artist brings beauty to a blank canvas, Krishna transforms the devotee's heart into a masterpiece of divine love. So then this divine love, which is that kindness, oneness, the seeing everything and everyone as myself, everyone, seeing Krishna in within and outside, that happens for you. And I think I've not read this shloka, right? I missed. uh, all right, so I'll just read it. सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजन्त्येकत्वमस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते. Yes. Anyone? Yes, Sandhya.
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमस्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते.
Thank you, Sandhya. So the last verse that I wanted to do was this आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः. Anyone? Last.
Sri Ramya ji has raised hand. So
Yes, yes. I can't see actually, but
Okay. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
I want to recite this shloka. Come. Come, it's okay. I can recite. Come, we'll do. Okay, you repeat after me. Atma upamyena Atma upanyema sarvatra sarvatra samam samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham sukham va yadi va dukkam sa yogi paramo mataha. Thank you.
Thank you, Shriram ji. I think we have another hand raised.
Dhruval.
Dhruval ji. Yes.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Actually, I wanted to ask,
Okay.
this is the meaning the same as the previous verse, or it looks
Yeah,
same?
actually, I didn't get this explanation is correct, but the translation I think I missed. Probably.
Oh.
1 second, let me just check. Yeah, correct.
Okay.
No.
Mm.
No, it's not. So the thing is, these four, they have only subtle differences, but all of them kind of means the same. So only difference is the 2-9 and 3-0 is talking about the self-realization, and 3-1 and 3-2 is talking about the God realization. So the Krishna is coming in 3-1 and 3-2, and 2-9 and 3-0, um, uh, the self, and then introduction to Krishna. So it's that's why I thought of covering it all together, because everything means the same basically. I hope it's clear. Okay, so the translation is, for those who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. So here, see, same thing. The person is seeing everyone and everything in Krishna. So here instead of seeing that oneness, here that person is seeing their Ishtadev. Okay, that is the difference. So he's saying, one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost and he's never lost to me. So that is the meaning. And so again, a true yogi through unceasing devotion sees Krishna in all beings and all aspects of life, recognizing that everything is infused with Krishna's presence. This is what Maraballi ji is saying. This perception is not intellectual. Ram Sukdas ji is saying Krishna's eternal presence ensures that yogis always connected to him. So it is all your connection with the Ishta. His guide, receiving his guidance and protection. Yes, Sandhya.
Yeah, just I think something that Dhruval shared in the chat is relevant, I feel. So I think
Uh,
that's maybe the translation of this verse. Like, of course, what you are saying, that is correct. And in addition, I think this point I thought we could also include this sukh and dukh. Like for everyone's pleasure and pain is, it's like true compassion is seen in an equal kind of manner. Yeah.
Okay. That yogi also is regarded as supreme, who looks this one, right? Who looks on all as one, like his own body, and who sees the pleasure and pain of all with a similar eye. Yes. So, same thing, this I have discussed in actually 6.29, or I think 30, where I'm saying that, once we see the oneness, I'll show you. You naturally, um, here. See, once you see that oneness, the selfless service becomes effortless. You will not distinct have any distinction between yourself and others. You will not have any competition, conflict, selfishness. Everything dissolves. The love and kindness become spontaneous, and harming others is like harming oneself. So it's basically the same thing, but it is just the perspective is changing in terms of one is kind of devotion to a form, and the other is actually devotion to the not form, which is that oneness. So, basically, how I've just included everything together. So, 2-9 focuses on saying oneness in all beings, not specifically about Krishna, but about perceiving the self in everything. The 3-0 focuses on personal relationship with Krishna, where devotee sees Krishna everywhere. So here the introduction of Krishna has happened. And then Krishna is saying that I'm there and all. Then 3-1, he's saying that how devotion will create that bond, and how Krishna will dwell within that person and will guide whatever is needed will be given to him. And then 6.32 is an expansion. That is how Krishna is everywhere, not just in that person guiding that person, but is everyone, and is in everything. So this has only 2 points, which is constant vision of Krishna and divine union and protection. So constant vision of Krishna is what? A true yogi, through seizing devotion, develops the ability to see Krishna and everything. So he's not just seeing it himself now, it will always first happen within, and then you will understand that, oh, if it is within me, it is within everyone. So he's through unceasing bhakti, he develops this ability to see Krishna and everything in all beings, nature, and even within themselves. This vision is not just intellectual, but a deep experiential realization that comes from constant remembrance of Krishna. And by meditating on his name, form, qualities, the yogi's consciousness becomes aligned with Krishna's omnipresent essence, and the yogi perceives that he is everywhere, and is everything is part of Krishna, leading to a deep spiritual union with the divine. So this is that union that I've been talking about in the first, where the actions will not happen because you feel that you are separate, but the action will happen out of that need to help, or because you see that, everything is same only, and somebody is suffering just because they are in some kind of ignorance, they don't realize their true nature. So example is, just as a flower always faces the sun, devotee's mind remains directed towards Krishna, constantly seeking his presence no matter the circumstances. So such a person, uh, he will, no matter whatever happens, he will always see Krishna in everything, his will. And this is like a star studded sky. He will see that every single star is actually manifestation of Krishna. So this is that constant vision of Krishna, that the person is not just it is happening within, but he is seeing in everything and everyone. And next is divine union and protection. So here again the same thing, like we've dealt previously. So when we have this constant vision and devotion, when we are seeing everything as a part of his leela, his redirection, the yogi forms an eternal bond with Krishna, where the connection is unshakable and permanent. Krishna's constant presence ensures the devotee remains never lost to him, no matter the external circumstances. This unbroken connection with Krishna offers spiritual guidance, protection, love, leading to an you will become, you will not become an agitated person. There will be a sense of security and peace within you, and this inner peace will lead to spiritual bliss and freedom from worldly distractions, as they remain aligned with Krishna at all times. And you will see that he's sitting, as your, in your boat, and he's leading you to that God realization, that state where then there is no single, individual will, there is only divine will. So example is a boat floating in the current. Um, that is, just as a boat effortlessly follows the river's current, the yogi is guided by Krishna's constant presence, moving gracefully towards spiritual fulfillment. So then that point in life comes where we don't need anything. He is providing everything. He will provide more than what we need. So that stage is where you will become one with Krishna and the divine union. In that protection, you will achieve this divine union, and then there is no return back. In fact, when I was reading Bhagavatam, they say that once a self-realized happens, a person actually has two options. One is to leave their body from the Sahasrar chakra, which is on the top of the head, and then another is from Agna. So a person who wants to come back to help and all, that person, even though they have received the form of Krishna and only Krishna is working through that person, when that person leaves this body because of old age or whatever, he can actually experience all the other worlds and if he wishes, he can come back and serve people. But a person who becomes self-realized and the oneness, and he's not interested in experiencing other world things and serve Krishna, he can directly leave through Sastra and merge with the divine. So these two options is what is being discussed here in terms of seeing that oneness and seeing Krishna. So a person who's actually seeing Krishna will want to serve, and then that person takes this route. Otherwise, a person knows that no, there is nothing to change, nothing, nobody to improve, because everything is happening as per divine will, and whether we are there or not, everything is happening on its own accord. Then that person actually leaves. So that is the difference, and I think I'll finish off with this that I found. This one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety? So everything is His will. And the only way you can conquer me is through love. And there I'm gladly conquered. So thank you, Radhe Radhe. I have two chats actually. Um, okay, so thank you. So does anybody have any question? So I'll stop sharing. All right.
Thank you so much for a beautiful presentation, Pratushadi. And we are actually running pretty short of time for Bhakcharit, but I'll try to still do it so that we don't miss it for this week. And I'll try to do it, cover it a little fast, but I don't want to miss it. And I heard like everybody, I
Sorry,
heard,
it took a lot of time.
no worries. But it was beautiful. So thank you, and I'll just get going. Okay. So today we are going to learn about Tripur Das, and this is to inspire us to actually um, ride over all the challenges in devotion and never be afraid and always be perseverant towards our goal or whatever commitments we have done, whatever is our goal, right? Towards the Lord. So Tripur Das, he was born in a part of Braj only. Braj was a larger area in the northern part of India, right? So it in Uttar Pradesh, and so his father was a royal minister, but at a young age only he got very good sanskars of devotion. And once he visited to Vrindavan along with his father. So this was a trip from Agra to Girirajji Govardhan Parvat, and that's where he for the first time saw Srinathji. And the very first time he saw Srinathji, he got captivated by his divine beauty, and he resolved to not go back home and stay with Srinathji. So his father, understanding that he's being a little, and I mean, and being that from that family of sanskar, right? So his father kind of allowed him and entrusted someone to take care of him. But on the way back, his father actually, he was royal minister, right? So he was attacked by enemy soldiers and he died. So there is a context here that this person was good and he was a genuine devotee and he lost his father at a very young age, right? So but look at this, what was his perspective at this point? So when he got to know that his father is no more and he already did not have mother, so now he was so-called anath or orphan, right? So he looked to Srinathji and said, now you are my father, my friend, and my everything. So we just learned in Bhagavad Gita, right? Seeing God in everything and everything in God. So this is that side, seeing everything in God. So he felt a deep joy. This is very difficult to understand, right? He just lost his father. But after understanding this, in some kind of a higher spiritual thinking, he felt a deep joy where he was realizing that though his earthly father has departed, he, through this process, had found his true eternal father. And his trust was now entirely in Srinathji. Like, now I have nobody to put my trust upon. It's only you who has to take care of me. So, and this was bringing a lot more tears and, bring increasing purity in him. So then, once that happens, then God will give you the guru, and that's what happened with him. So Mahaprabhu Vallabhacharya ji became his guru. And the way he actually impressed Vallabhacharya ji to become his guru was also quite nice. Like he just said that, I am orphan and my only protector is Srinath ji. So please accept me as your disciple. So he was pleased and he accepted him. And so and then so he basically trained him, gave him all the gyan, and then asked him to go back to his place and perform his duties, the kartavyas that we are supposed to perform. So, okay, it's already 10:03. I'll just proceed further, but maybe I won't go into the details. So basically, just like his father, he was now also appointed in the royal court with the king. And but what he would do is he dedicate, so this was really nice. Whatever salary he would get as the royal minister, he decided that all of it will go for the service of cows and the saints. And what I will feed myself and my family is the prasad. That's it. So this was a vow that he made very early on. So he would basically keep serving saints. And in fact, he had also decided that every year he will make like a special cloth for Vittalji, for like Krishna and Srinathji. And the service of Srinathji was performed by Vallabhacharyaji's son, Vittalnathji. So Vittalnathji knew, and so basically Vittalnathji could feel the expressions of Krishna whenever he'll wear the clothes offered by uh, him, Tripurdasji. So all this was going on, but of course, Krishna puts the best test for his best students. So first he lost his father. Now there is something else coming up. So what happened? Uh, People were envious of Tripurdas ji, and they complained to the king that he is not just utilizing his salary in serving the saints, but he's also taking all the funds of the state towards serving saints and cows, and he's just not being a good minister. And by that influence, the king actually took away all his wealth and took away his job. And now he was not even left with any utensil in his house or any food to feed anyone. So he was basically experiencing now extreme poverty and hardship. So, but let's see what was his attitude at this time. So now he was like, you know, it was fine. I do not have food myself. It is fine. I do not have clothes for myself or shelter. But I cannot live without completing my commitment towards my God, right? Which was to offer that cloth once a year and also serve the saints. So, with that, he said, "Oh Lord, I can bear any suffering but cannot live without serving you." And at that moment, he just saw an ink pot in his house on the shelf, and it was made of brass. So he thought he can just sell it and he'll get something with which he can make something for the Lord. So he went and sold it. He just got 1 rupee, and with that 1 rupee, he went to the market and got a cloth. And he thought, let me try to make something. But then this was like a very small cloth, not even fancy enough to be put on Krishna, right? So this was another thing. He was like, for Krishna, it has to be the bestest of thing. It cannot be any random thing, right? So he was like, "Oh my God, I am not managing. I'm not doing enough to be able to bring what he deserves. I mean, what Krishna deserves, right?" So what he did, he just dyed this cloth with red, and this is in some sense reflecting his love, color of the love. So he dyed the cloth with his love for the Lord, and but he was like, I can't give it because it is not worth. It's not even worth to be put at your feet, Krishna. So I cannot, offer it to be worn. So he did not offer it to Srinath ji. But then one day, someone from the royal, like from the service of Srinath ji, visited him. And of course, he did not have any food or anything to offer, but he had this red cloth, which he said, just take it from me. Do not offer it to Srinathji. Do not even tell that I couldn't make it and this is something I have sent. But just keep it with you near Srinathji somewhere, right? So the servant took the cloth, gave it to the storekeeper and told that Tripudas ji has given it and told what he requested. So the storekeeper kept it respectfully and used to use this cloth for packing all the clothes of Srinathji. Now the twist of the story will come, which is very beautiful. That Srinathji knows everything, right? He's the one who has given this test. He's the one who has given the hardship. So he actually now does a drama, which is a very interesting drama. So now he has started shivering. He's feeling very, very cold. And I think some of you can start thinking what will happen. So, so now Srinathji has everything, he has all warm clothes, but he's shivering. So he told Vittalnathji that I am feeling very cold. So Vittalnathji immediately arranged for even more warmer clothes and also arranged for a heater to be kept near Srinathji. But Srinathji was like, no, I'm still feeling very cold. This is not helping me. Now, like Vittanalji started thinking, what is happening? This is not ordinary cold. Definitely some devotee somewhere is being disrespected or hurt or in pain. And that is why Srinathji is feeling this way. So we need to solve that problem. So he basically asked whoever, just bring the account immediately for all the devotees who sent clothes for Srinathji, and is there any change that has happened? So it was realized that Tripurdas name was not there, and this year his clothes haven't come. So of course he asked, followed up on that, right? So it was realized that he understood that servants told that he has become poor and he had just sent this cloth. So immediately what Vittalnathji did, he asked the tailor to stitch a dress for Srinathji from that red cloth, and that dress was put upon Srinathji. And of course, as soon as he wore it, he said, yes, now my cold is gone. So that is where the story concludes, that our Lord is pleased only with love and devotion. Whatever the situation, do not break your vows, right? So for him, that is what was the most important thing, that I have to serve Krishna. I can live without anything, but not without serving Krishna. So do not miss your worship. In whatever way you can do, just do it. Because Krishna sees the intent, not anything else, right? And in fact, he will make sure that he takes your service when he's so used to enjoying the service made by you with all pure heart. So whatever vows you take on the spiritual path, follow them. And by doing this, we will definitely find God. So never forget God in happiness and do not give up devotion out of fear in sadness. So you will get a lot of happiness um, in this process, even in failures. So yeah, so basically, I think the lesson of today's story is to persevere through all circumstances and never ever forget devotion. That's it. So I'll stop sharing. Did I stop sharing? Yeah, okay. Sorry for extending it like for 10 more minutes, but I think um, we all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, so it's worth it. So with that, let's get going.
Thank you, Satya.
Thank you, Pratusha ji. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see each other next weekend. I mean, next Sunday. Till then,
Thank
Radhe
you.
Radhe. Yeah,
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.